Hey TJ, I don't know if you noticed, but like when you've been talking, your screen is like moving up and down.
Yeah, my thing's not stable. So
Oh, okay, okay. I just want to make sure you know.
earthquake in Indiana.
Yeah, that looks silly, man. So the recession, are we in one? What do you guys think?
No. No.
You don't think so?
I don't know, man. It's kind of iffy because I mean you hear the economists. I mean you see the interest rates. They keep getting higher and higher. But I kind of do think that we are in one. The stock market shows that we're in one. I mean, but if you
Mm,
look at jobs and if you look at consumer spending slow down a lot. So yeah, I would say yes.
yeah, yeah. I think well, a recession is kind of weird because like you know, it doesn't have to hit first, then you're in a recession. Ooh, now we're in one.
Mhm.
No, you can be, in a bad position and know not you don't know that you're in one. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so, like from a technical standpoint, yeah, you can look at the stock market as well. You can also look at, like you mentioned, Terrace, the consumer report, where like nobody's buying anything.
Right.
You know, stuff is too high to buy. I mean, you just
Mhm.
mentioned gas. Paying 250 for gas in a week. Like what in the world? And so, like, it's the signs of the time for sure.
Yeah, and I think one of the main reasons of why, or a big reason of why it's such a question of are we actually in one or not, is because I think there's two sides that are of people in the in our country, because I feel like all the leaders and the people who who really know, they're all like oh, it's all right, we'll be fine, XYZ, ain't nothing really happening. And then what happens is all the people who listen to them or look to them and whatnot, they're like, well, they haven't said anything about it, and nobody's like, they're not worried, they don't seem worried about it, XYZ. So I don't know, maybe are we in one, maybe not. And I think that's causing like a lot of confusion, and in terms of like, are we really in one? Some people maybe, I think people kind of don't think we're in one, or just think it hasn't come yet or whatever. And so I think that's a big part of that as well.
Though spending has slowed down, you do have some people out there who are not making the best decision or the wise decision financially. I mean, you can see it. Like, for an example, I wanted to take out a loan just for some, extra cash, whatnot, just to see what these interest rates and what the banks are charging. So I got approved for the loan. Um, and I I wanted was a $2,000 loan or something like that, and the bank were offering $2,500. I'm like, all right, let's see, what the interest rate. So I think the interest rate was up above 35% or something.
Hmm.
But just what I would have to pay back was 4 grand on top of $2,500 that they loaned
Oh my
Yeah, that sound like a recession to me.
me. So I'm just saying, like,
yeah, boy.
that's loan sharking, like at its
Yeah.
best. If I
Hmm.
wanted to if I was desperate enough, I would just go to the hood, you know what I mean, and just go to a loan shark.
Yeah. Yep.
If I was desperate enough, but I'm not. But I'm just saying, like, but a lot of people are, they're not even looking at that. They're just saying, well, I can just they'll front me 2,500, but in the long run, oh well. No, it
Right.
doesn't work that way.
Right. And another thing that people are talking about, um, and you can look up, folks like Robert Kiyosaki and some of the folks that he has on this podcast. But some people are talking about, oh, is this a depression?
Hmm.
And I mean, that's a great question because what a recession is there's too much money in the system, and so we have to pull back.
Yeah.
Well, if the Fed keeps raising interest rates a little bit too aggressively, they can literally cause like some sort of hybrid between a depression and a recession where, okay, we're pulling back because there's too much money in the system. But now interest rates are so high,
Mhm.
and the Fed, they've choked the economy to death. So now we're in a depression because there's no money in the system at all.
Correct.
And so and the weird thing about America is, unlike all the other countries in the world, we do not have a good export system at all. We do too much importing, and it's getting us cooked, and so the only other way to get out of something is to keep hitting that print button.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I know we're going to get on a little bit later, but I don't want to get ahead. But since we are a import system, the wisdom in that is to take as much as you can or buy as much as you can and store it up.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? Like we do that financially. We buy a bunch of stocks.
Right.
Oh man, Apple just dropped, so we're going to buy a bunch of shares, and then you just hold
Yeah.
on to it until it inflates. You know what I mean? Until it gets bigger. Well, that's the same thing when it comes with those back in the Great Depression. During the time of the Great Depression, a lot of people were in the countries growing so much food, and you hear me talk about this on on our podcast, and I'm gonna stick to those principles because I loved it. I love what they did. But anyways, they end up growing a bunch of food to the point where they had a storehouse. And when the Great Depression hit, they would just drive. They had so much food, they would just drive into the cities, just helping people and giving it away. But during these times, again, I just think that we as a people, we do not make the best decisions financially.
Right. So in terms of the recession, who's going to be affected? You guys think? Obviously the poor and the middle class, but like, will the rich be affected? How will this,
Hmm.
you guys think, will affect the world?
Well, I know a lot of businesses are going to start getting affected by this, especially because something I heard about was, they got to keep raising the. It's kind of like an employee thing. They're starting to have to, they're losing employees, especially because they got to pay these people, and they got to like keep raising the prices in order to combat, or keep raising the pay to combat, the inflation of the market as well. So I think a lot of the businesses are really going to take a hit from this, the people who own those and whatnot.
It's crazy you said that. When I drive around, here we live in the Midwest, but when I drive around and see all of those good old restaurants, they're no longer standing. What is it? Bob Evans, for example, wiped out. Bob Evans is gone. Like,
Bob
yeah,
Evans was, man.
yeah, everybody loved Bob Evans. That you
Yep.
can't even see him. Can't even find one now. They're gone. Wiped them
Yeah.
out. And that's
They
what
got
COVID
IHOP.
did. Yeah, they IHOP, and some of the IHOPs got wiped out. But
Yep.
it's just, and that was during COVID. So I'm just saying, like, now we're starting to see a lot of businesses. Let's see how strong they are. But like you said, not only do the poor get affected and the middle class, but yeah, that's pretty cool. The businesses, yeah.
Yeah. I literally have a friend right now. She was going to start a business, like some sort of like clothing business or something like that. And I mean, literally, she had everything ready. She was ready to launch it and everything.
Mhm.
She had gotten her like sponsors or whatever, and sent out little samples to people and everything. And then she got news about this recession. She was like, "Oh, I'm about to get smoked. I might as well wait until afterward because, like, who's gonna buy her stuff? You know what I mean?" And so, like, I mean, small business is really about to get paddled, hard because I mean, you're a small business, I mean, you're so dependent on your customers, and typically small businesses do not have, just this huge savings account to just sit back on. All right,
Mhm.
let's chill out, until everything's cool. No, you got to keep working and working, and I believe what you'll see is people start getting burnt out. There's going to be depression in terms of mental depression,
Mhm.
um, because you've put all this time and all this effort and work into something that you're proud of, and because it's something that you can't control, it might wipe you out. And so what I've heard though for small businesses, and this is kind of segueing into our how should we prepare, what small businesses should do, they should begin investing into the stock market because you know that eventually the bottom has to hit. And once the bottom hits, um, you can have almost like this savings account where you're getting interest on your money because no matter what, even if your business is doing bad, you're still making money, whether it be midterm, whether it be like a long term thing in the market. And so it's almost like a saving grace, just in case you don't, your business is getting killed, you're not making any money, no customers, anything like that. There is kind of sort of a second option in which you can go to, and that's the stock market.
Yeah, you hit this out, man. That this I love the way that New York economy is ran because they cater to mom and pops. You know what I mean? The small business, like they really
Yeah.
love those because that's what helps that economy thrive. But looking at where we are in the Midwest, it's rare that you see a lot of mom and pops. I mean,
Yeah.
they struggle a lot out here, but out there, I mean, that's what you have. I mean, you got Walmart out there, I heard, but it's not like the Walmart here, where as soon as
Yeah.
Walmart came in the Midwest, it wiped out a lot of stuff. Kmart, for an example, though Sears, they were all always on the down side, but when Walmart really came in, it wiped out Kmart big time. And
Right.
that's why they're not going to put up a bunch of Walmarts in New York, especially the big city. But again, it's that's why I like how their economy is ran. But here, we're going to see a lot of people, small businesses out here, really struggle and really hurt unless the states come with that nice stimmy. What a nice stimmy, but I don't think they will this time. I don't think they will.
Yeah. And so like, I know for like DJ, he's doing music and things. And so what I was thinking about, I was like, well, how will this affect the music world? Because um, a lot of people look at music as kind of like a luxury type of thing that you do, you know. And so just like back in COVID, where you had a lot of like individual, independent uh, music teachers that had like private classes and things, they weren't making any money, man. I mean, I know so many people, I mean, they were just getting killed, because it's looked at a luxury thing. And so also while you're investing in the stock market, be investing in some sort of skill that can get you through hard times. It can be, something vocational, like, welding or learning plumbing or something like that. Just have something in your back pocket so that in case, option A falls through, yeah, option B or even option C.
Right. I said we put our I think it was my oldest and my youngest. My daughter didn't want to do it. Yeah, my two boys, in piano lessons, and it was before COVID. And when COVID hit, yeah, I think she sold the building and moved back with her parents or something. I mean, like,
Dang.
yeah, we haven't heard.
Wow.
Yeah, or she began to homeschool, something like that, something crazy. But yeah, you're right. Like, in that industry. But as far as taking it to somewhere else, now this is the power of the internet. This is the power of social media. You can send up a little minute lesson on TikTok. You know what I mean? A,
Yeah.
B, C, boom, 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 and this is how you play. 1, 2, 3 into the 4, right? On piano.
Yeah,
So,
that's really how it was. A lot of from personal experience, a lot of the musicians, like the high end ones, they started going crazy with the online lessons because that was just the way it was able to happen, especially with money was tight, transportation was kind of not really booming that year, and everybody just moved to, hey, we can set up a Zoom lesson, and so and yeah, a lot of the orchestras, they get a lot of like their money from donation, big donors and whatnot, And once that once that starts going away, people aren't coming to the concerts, and because they saving money, donors ain't giving out that much money anymore. It's gone, like that.
Mm.
I mean, and it happens, and it happened to anybody. The Metropolitan Opera, one of the biggest operas in the world here in New York, they during COVID, man, it was trenches. They went like a whole year and some change without receiving a paycheck from
Whoa.
the orchestra. The people in the orchestra, they went about might have been a little over a whole year without receiving a single paycheck from the Met. And they
Mhm.
one of the highest paid, one of the best orchestras in the world.
Mm.
So yeah, man, you brought that up, and I was like, yeah, it's definitely definitely affected them too. So
Yeah.
So
So what it sounds like, DJ and Terrence, what you're saying is you gotta adapt.
yeah,
got it that, and that's what I was going to ask. Before before we close, because I got to get out of here, my brethren. But
Hmm.
what advice can we give um to those out here who believe that we're in a recession, and to those that don't? What are the things that we should be doing in a recession financially? What do you guys think?
Well, I would say one thing you can be looking at is um, how to invest.
Hmm.
I would say learning that process because it's not a it's not a quick process. You probably wouldn't even learn it in a week. And I feel like that's what's going to happen. Too late. People are just going, oh, now let me start figuring this stuff out. And even though long term the economy is heading upward, um, and so you still can get in. But you got to survive. This crash that's going to come, and so begin the process of learning knowledge and gaining understanding, and then you can from there you can start branching off to different moves that you can make, and things that you can learn. Like I said, it's how to invest. It can be real estate. It can be stock market stuff, crypto, or even something. I'll call it illiquid, like an illiquid asset, like uh, buying property,
Mm.
um, agricultural stuff, which will be very beneficial, and like you were mentioned before, Terrence, like back in the Great Depression days, if you have food, people came to you. You know
Hmm.
what I mean? And so the same thing can be, folks ain't got to drive to Walmart, where uh, Kroger, the shelves is empty. Well, where do I get food? And so learning agriculture and, again, picking up skills is a really good option.
What about you, Rodney?
I think one of the things I've been thinking about is with this kind of crash. I think it's honestly a really good opportunity because if you're able to find a way to etch yourself into the market, with whatever way it is, you'll have to ride it out, while it's low, but when it goes back up, that'll be very very profitable for you. Um, and then another thing was kind of picking back off of what Bradley said. But I think learning a skill that it's usable in any almost any situation. That's kind of a staple. Like for me, example, I'm learning, coding and cybersecurity. That'll always be here. It'll always need that. And so
Hmm.
I think
Hmm.
learning really really core skills to help get you through these kind of times is really important too. So yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I agree with y'all both, man. That investing is where it is. But did you know that you can also capitalize on your losses in the market? So during tax time, you can if you keep track of your losses in the stock market, then during
Hmm.
tax season when you file, you can just present them losses and you can get a great gain during that season. But I'm gonna roll with trim spending and tackle whatever debt you have.
Yeah.
um, you got to trim that spending because I know I mentioned I drive into the city to work, and I'm spending like over 250 a week in gas. So right now I'm just trying to find a job where I can work at home. full time because this gas is killing me. And once when I can get that gas down, then I can tackle whatever debt I have. So I can take the extra 250 that I put in pocket now, and then add it to whatever debt that I've been paying off. Then I can get some credit cards down, as well as going back to trimming my spending, just looking ways to where I grow my food now, well, which I've been doing, but grow the things in which we eat the most. And so we're vegetarian, so of course lettuce, salad and stuff like that. So grow that because it's gone up.
Yeah.
It's gone up, and I'm not yet. Forget that. Everybody talking I'm eating organic. I can't even afford organic. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy, man. It is crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just that's what I'm rolling with: trimming, spending, and tackle whatever debt. And do not buy a car right now.
Yes.
Do not buy a car right now. It's ridiculous.
Or a house.
Or a house.
Or a house, yep.
Or a house.
House to the roof.
Now I can understand the house because eventually you can get your return on that. It can build equity. But a vehicle, you can't build equity in the vehicle.
Right.
It depreciates.
It
So that is like
immediately, yeah.
That is the worst asset that you can buy in a recession is a car. It's horrible. Because just imagine if they're trying to charge me 35% on a $2,500 loan. You know what I mean? Like, just imagine what they're charging these guys on an $18,000 vehicle. It's like,
yeah.
and the return that these banks are getting, like, yeah, it's ridiculous. So,
Yeah. I met a guy, unfortunately, probably about a month ago, where he had bought this brand new, I think it was like a Ram or Ford truck. I mean, it was nice, man.
yeah.
I was like, dang, how much you pay for this? He was like, I paid 180 grand. I was like,
What?
oh! Yeah, man. 180,000 on that thing.
That's crazy.
And I told him, I said, man, if you could have waited about 6 months, you might could have got that thing for about half.
Mhm.
He was like, what? I was like, you got your receipt to return it. But yeah, man. Yeah, I agree with you, Terrence. Yeah, getting that debt down. Because what has happened is 2021 caused a lot of people to get into debt because you got the housing boom. You got, people just want to be free from, the 2020, whatever that was, what 2020 was, so they just want to be free. And so now you got a lot of people entering into debt, and now more than ever, it's the time to get out if you can help it. So,
yep, I agree. Yep. But I'm not buying this student loan thing. I got student loan debt, but I ain't signing up for that 10 G's. I'm sorry.
yeah, I'm not gonna lie, man. It sounded a little sketchy. It sounded a little too good to be true.
No, I make my 10 G's through the market like everybody else, and then I get my own. You know what I mean? Like, I pay off my own. I don't. It's something's up, bro.
yeah. This got to be something on the back end, man.
Something's up. So yeah, man. But yeah, if you guys got any questions, you guys feel free to comment, man. Like, share, subscribe. Do what you guys got to do. Smash that like button. And as always, man, we are your financial four. Unfortunately, our fourth guy, couldn't be here. He's well, I don't want to say unfortunately, it's fortunate. He's expecting a baby, so at any given time. But yeah, this is amazing that we four we got together to get together and try to figure out our own finances and how we can, I don't want to say get rich, but just obtain generational wealth. And it's actually been working. So we'll keep you guys updated. Keep your eye out for more videos of financial advice, tips in the stock market, jacks of all trades. We got Bradley Barnett, and NFTs, giving you some diligent research and a lot of information. Rodney Rhodes and I myself just giving you tips on options and trading options and what that looks like, and because you can make a lot of money with options, fast money too.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we got Aaron Barnett. He's coming with what is it? Crypto.
Crypto
Yeah, he coming
and
with
real
crypto
estate.
and real estate. That's right. So be on the lookout, guys, and we appreciate your time and your love and your support.
Peace out, guys. Love y'all.
Peace.